The ultimatum from the Zynthian Dominion had arrived 3 days ago. Their war fleet, a colossal armada of 500 vessels, hung in orbit above Earth like a sword of Damocles, poised to strike. On every screen, on every device across the planet, High Commander Zarketh's chilling message played on an endless loop. His reptilian face, a mask of arrogance, delivered the terms: surrender your world, dismantle your military, and submit to Dominion rule within 72 hours. Or we will demonstrate precisely why 147 civilizations have bowed before us. The deadline had come. The final seconds ticked away. Deep beneath Geneva, in the United Nations Emergency Command Center, Admiral Rebecca Morrison watched the countdown hit 0. The air was thick with tension. Around her, representatives from every nation on Earth sat in a silent, shared vigil. They had spent 3 grueling days and nights preparing for this exact moment. And now, it was here. Zarketh's face reappeared on the main view screen, his features twisting into what his species considered a smile. Your time has expired. Humans, have you chosen wisdom, or will you choose annihilation? Admiral Morrison rose from her chair. Her silver hair was pulled back in a severe bun, her uniform immaculate despite the 3 sleepless nights she had clearly endured. She faced the screen, her posture radiating an unshakable calm. Commander Zarketh, we have reviewed your terms. The alien commander leaned forward, a glint of predatory anticipation in his vertical pupils. And we decline. The words hung in the air. The room plunged into a silence so profound you could hear a pin drop. Even the human delegates, who had worked tirelessly alongside Morrison, seemed to be holding their breath, caught in the gravity of her defiance. Zarketh's smile widened, becoming a grotesque leer. Then you have chosen death. Very well. Observe what happens to species who dare to defy the Dominion. He gestured to someone off screen, his voice booming with authority. Target their largest city, Tokyo. Full bombardment. Admiral Morrison's expression remained utterly unchanged. Her voice was as steady as a surgeon's hand. Fire when ready, Commander. A flicker of doubt, just for a moment, crossed Zarketh's face. Something in the human's tone was deeply unsettling, a variable he hadn't accounted for. But his pride, his long history of conquest, pushed it aside. He gave the order. The Zynthian flagship's main weapon began to charge. Energy readings on every sensor in the command center spiked off the charts. A brilliant lance of superheated plasma erupted from the ship's bow, a spear of pure destruction streaking toward Tokyo at a significant fraction of light speed. And then, it hit. Not the city, but an invisible barrier 300 kilometers above the Earth's surface. The plasma beam dissipated harmlessly, spreading across the unseen shield like water splashing against a window pane. Zarketh's eyes widened in disbelief. His arrogant smile vanished. What is this? Stammer. That, Admiral Morrison replied, her voice cool and level, would be our planetary defense grid. We finished installing it about 6 hours ago. Did you really think we spent the last 3 days panicking? The commander's claws dug deep into the armrests of his command chair, the metallic screech echoing his frustration. Impossible. Our intelligence reports showed no such technology. No planetary shields. Your intelligence was correct, Morrison conceded. 2 weeks ago. You see, Commander, you made a critical error. A fatal miscalculation. You gave us time. With a flick of her wrist, Morrison brought up a holographic display, bathing the command center in its blue light. 3 days ago, every factory on Earth retooled. Every shipyard, every manufacturing plant, every single 3D printer, from massive industrial units to the ones in people's homes, switched to a single purpose. We've been operating on a total wartime economy for 72 straight hours. She expanded the display, showing a torrent of real-time data streaming in from across the globe. In that time, we've produced 47,000 autonomous defense drones. We've established a network of 8,000 orbital defense platforms, the very things that just stopped your super weep, and we've manufactured enough munitions to sustain a full-scale war for the next 6 months. She paused, letting the information sink in. Oh, And we also completed construction on 83 new warships. Zarkith let out a laugh, but it was hollow, brittle. 83 ships against my 500. You've only delayed the inevitable. Human. A cold, thin smile touched Morrison's lips for the first time. Oh, those 83 are just what we managed to finish in the last 3 days. Would you like to see what we've been hiding? She pressed a single button on her console. Across the entire solar system, a silent command was issued. Stealth fields deactivated, and from the shadows, humanity's true fleet emerged. 376 warships materialized out of nothing, appearing from behind moons, from within asteroid fields, and from positions hidden by the sun's blinding glare. 4 months, ever since the Zynthian fleet was first detected on its long journey toward Earth. Every major shipyard in the system had been working in absolute secrecy. The color drained from Zarketh's face. He stared at his tactical displays, his mind struggling to process the impossible sight of a fleet that now outnumbered his own. Morrison's voice was as hard as diamond. You see, Commander, humanity has an old saying, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. We've studied history our own, and that of others. We know exactly what happens to unprepared civilizations when predators like you come calling. She leaned closer to the camera, her gaze piercing through the screen. So, we prepared. We watched the Dominion conquer 147 civilizations. We studied every single one, and we learned from every one of their mistakes. Her voice dropped, laced with steel. Now, let me ask you something. You came here expecting another easy victory, expecting us to roll over like all the others. You fired your best shot, and it didn't even scorch our paint. So here's my question for you. Commander, is that all you've got? The silence that followed was deafening. It stretched for 10 seconds, 20, 30. Zarkith just stared, his empire's invincibility shattering before his eyes. Finally, he spoke, his voice a broken whisper. What? What do you want? I want you to leave, Morrison stated, her tone leaving no room for negotiation. I want you to return to your dominion and tell them that Earth is off limits. Permanently. Tell them that humanity doesn't bluff, doesn't bluster, and doesn't break. Morrison's eyes were like chips of ice. And tell them that the next species they decide to threaten might just find themselves protected by human warships. We are done watching civilizations fall to bullies. Zarkith. His hands trembled as he reached for his controls, his reign of terror ending not with a bang, but with a whimper. We're withdrawing. Smart choice. Morrison cut the transmission. She turned to her command staff, the comm breaking to reveal a fierce, triumphant leader. Deploy the fleet. Shadow them to the system boundary. If they so much as sneeze in our direction, blow them out of space. As the 500 Zynthian vessels turned and fled, a ghost fleet hounded by a force they never knew existed, someone in the command center began to clap, a single, rhythmic sound that was quickly joined by another, and another, until the entire room erupted in a thunderous, cathartic applause. Admiral Morrison allowed herself a small, weary smile. The galaxy had looked at humanity and seen a young, weak, and divided species. They had learned the truth. When you back humanity into a corner, you had better be ready for the response, because we don't just survive. We adapt. We innovate, and we never, ever forget. The Zynthian Dominion never approached Earth again. Wheaton Agyr, 3 of their so-called subject species had successfully rebelled, armed with advanced human weapons and trained by human advisors. The age of easy conquest was over. Humanity had called the bluff, and the galaxy would never be the same again. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more tales of humanity's finest moments. See you in the next one.